Thanks to my clickbait thumbnail and video title, my first Once Human video got quite a few more views than usual for me. But there were also a few comments stating that it's definitely not the best free survival game for several reasons. I have now finished my first Manibus season, and I'm already annoyed that you have to restart after each server ends. But I firstly will explain how Once Human servers work, for those who don't know it. When you first create a new character, you get assigned to a random server. For me, it was a Manibus Novice server. You then play on the server until it ends, which is about 2.5 months. In that time you can progress the story, do side quests and just explore the world. The interesting part comes within the last 2 weeks of the server, because now you have to sign up to a new server, where you will get transferred when it opens. Now, you luckily don't start at the complete beginning. You keep all your weapon mods, all your blueprints and all your weapon and clothing modifications, so you can start with your preferred build right away. Sadly, you don't keep your level, weapons and armors, like when you start a New Game Plus in Elden Ring, but I can understand why they did it. However, you can transfer a certain amount of weapons, armor and resources from your old server to your new server. That will cost you points, so choose wisely. The problem with restarting each time is that you have to do everything again. That includes doing the main quest again, doing all the side quests, and worst of all the cities where you have to activate rift anchors are all the same. Kill a certain amount of enemies, find the mythical crate, find the weapon crates. Sometimes you also have to kill an elite enemy, and that for every single location, over and over and over again. The first time this is not an issue, since you are still exploring and everything is new. The second and third time it's an inconvenience, but you still might find new things. But anything later than that, it's just annoying. The first reason that was mentioned more than once is how repetitive and boring it gets the more you play. But since I already touched that topic, I will not go in more detail. The second good reason is that the game time locks everything. There's up to 6 chapters per server, and after a period of time the next chapter starts. Now, the problem with that is that it also time locks regions, memetics and other stuff. For example, the open world is not so open when the game forbids you to enter certain parts of the map just because. Or when you research all the important memetics and don't want to waste them just because the more important stuff is time locked. Let's take Red Dead Redemption as an example. Right after you complete the first mission, the world opens and you can immediately go to Saint Denis if you feel like it. No progression restriction. So saying it's an open world is not quite true. An open world in my definition is when you can go everywhere at any time. But here again I understand why they did it. A thing I noticed is that a vast majority of the NPCs don't have finished voice lines. For example Maxi. When you first meet her, then she has a voice line, but after defeating Trent she doesn't get one. You still get the text, so if you are interested in the lore you can still read the text, but I personally didn't. And last point is that people are saying that they are bringing too many loot boxes and too little content to the game. One comment is stating that devs are saying they don't have enough time but bring out loot boxes on the regular. I neither can confirm or nor deny if that's true or not, because I haven't been playing for long enough. But technically I'd say having loot boxes in general is a downside for every game. But that includes War Thunder, World of Tanks and basically everything from EA. But for all these games except maybe EA, the loot boxes aren't the main source of income. For War Thunder as World of Tanks, their main income is premium account, premium vehicles and premium currency. Now, Once Human isn't selling those kinds of stuff, rather they're selling cosmetics for armor, buildings and a battle pass. That's way more like Fortnite's way of making money. The difference is that Once Human is way less popular than Fortnite, meaning that they make way less money with that than Fortnite. My guess is that the devs are trying to increase their income with those loot boxes, but it doesn't break the game. It also doesn't take nearly as much time to create crates as it does to create new content. So, is Once Human the worst free-to-play survival game? Most definitely not. Of course, it has its flaws. For example, that you can play through the entire game within more or less 2 months, with both winter and Manibus scenario. But the game isn't finished, so there will be more content in the future. Does it get repetitive the more you play? Also, yes, definitely. But that's the same for Elden Ring, War Thunder and World of Tanks. And what do you do when it gets boring? Exactly, you try something new. Maybe you try a level 1 run, or that vehicle that everyone trash talks suddenly looks like a welcome challenge. You can do the same with Once Human. Maybe try a no-hit Once Human run, or beating the game with a level 1 weapon. A game getting repetitive the more often you play it is nothing new and exclusive for Once Human, so naturally you try something new. The loot boxes also don't ruin the game. If you don't want to support loot boxes, then don't buy them. Of course, you can go a step further and don't play the game at all to set a statement. But why restrict yourself from playing a game that you enjoy just because you don't agree with all of their business decisions? The game is free to play after all. Now that is out of the way, let's start with recapping the time on my first server. After I killed Trent, I firstly explored a whole lot, but that's not interesting, so I'll skip that.
Hello, I think I'm searching for a woman. Is she hospitalized here, please? Hello, I'm searching for a woman. She's supposed to be hospitalized here and getting some... Hey, please keep your personal distance. I have my space and my rights. I'm sorry this had to end like this. I was just asking about someone being hospitalized here. Was that too hard, huh? Also, hello cat. Kitty. I love my shotgun. Don't stand up, please. Oh, yeah. Oh, what? Go back to the way you came from. Kidding me?
You saw that wheelchair too, right? Looks like we've got a deviation on our hands.
Great. Oh, I hate it. Six. Wait, going here decreases the month. Yes, okay, got it. Alright. Okay, I need to be in the 9th on the 15th. 9th on the 15th, that means this way. 1, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah. Alright. Oh, give it to me, please. Yes. Ooh, I like that. That was cool. I like that. Little bit of a flip, but that was cool. I like that. I just wish I talked to the woman before I left. Because now she's gone. I guess I have to leave.
After I gave this man his medicine and told him that his girlfriend hasn't made it, I went to finally construct an actual home.
Oh, thank you. You may have just saved my life. And Kayla, do you know what happened to her? Oh, I see. Thank you for telling me. At least you found out for me, I guess. Here, take this for your help.
I'm earning my pay. Hard work, work. Hard work, work. Hard work, I turn it up. Hard work, we fired up. Hard work, everybody's on the plane. Hard work, we do it for play. Hard work, that's what they say. Hard work, I earn my pay.
The final product of my house looks like this. And please note that this image of my house is at the end of my time on the server, because I was upgrading and changing things all the time. This is the most complete version you get.
That's why it was set up. We believe in expansion and evolution. Humanity not only cannot be defeated, but will not be wanted. Every obstacle we encounter will only spur us to grow stronger.
Araxium is my favorite boss in the Manibus server. I like the whole horror setup you get in the cutscene. My theory is that she died of child labor at the moment of starfall, which is why there is only a carcass on the spider's body. The only problem with that is that the fog pushed my PC to its limits. Especially at the beginning there was a high latency between my mouse and the game. But I like the mechanics of her boss fight, with the little eggs you have to pop when you enter second phase. After she lost her immunity, you could shoot her down and she would lay there for me to bump some good damage into her. On the other side is the boss that I hate the most, and that is the Shadow Hound. He's technically not that hard to come by, but nothing explains to you how you should do his fight. But let's start at the beginning. When you enter his boss fight on normal mode, he doesn't have a weak spot. He only gets that weak spot once you get him to about 3/4 HP, and then he will start coughing up his inner mouth. Next, I really don't like his charge attack, because for me it's really hard to evade. Maybe it's because I'm used to getting iframes when I roll. Which brings me to the topic of the entire purpose of the roll. You barely cover more ground than with sprinting, and you can evade most attacks with running instead of rolling. A minor inconvenience is the part where he gets almost invulnerable and summons small orbs that will continuously shoot you. You have to shoot the weak spots on his shoulders so the protective shield gets destroyed. The part where that minor inconvenience turns into a big problem is when it gets combined with the next attack, the floating orb attack, that will one-shot you no matter what. To escape that fate, you have to shoot him until that small white bar below his main HP bar is depleted. Then he will fall to the ground and lay there, allowing you to do some good damage. But for me personally, that wasn't clear at all. That on one hand could be because I'm used to Elden Ring's boss design, where bosses in such attacks get hyper armor or are straight up invincible. But on the other hand, nothing explains to you that you can shoot him out of that. Now imagine you can't destroy this shield in time, and then he does his unavoidable one-shot attack. Yeah, you're screwed. And also, he sometimes turns in a way that you can't access the shoulder that are left with access the one shoulder that is left over, and are left with no option than to hope he presents you the weak spot before turning into a giant orb again. His little laser attack is like the easiest shit you can have, because the laser will fall into the ground in front of you. The projectile attacks are also relatively easy to dodge, and his only close range attack he has is a double swipe with his claws. But he only does that when you are relatively close, and you don't want to do that because then you can't access his weak spot. You can evade the gravitation attack in the same way, since you won't be pulled in range if you stay far enough away. At last is his attack where he goes underground and attacks you from below. and the only way you're gonna get hit by that is by staying completely stationary. And with that done, there's nothing left than to kill him.
Alright. A little piece of dung.
I found the concept of the Forsaken Giant quite interesting, that the weak spot isn't always available and its damage is capped. It also slowly destroys the battle arena, what makes the fight a little more tactical. With that I mean that this attack breaks the arena. The arena is segmented into 3 platforms, which each can take 2 hits, and with the 3rd hit it collapses. With each time he does this attack, he will hit 3 times, so the best way is to spread it out so each segment takes 1 hit. With each attack the Forsaken Giant does, it reveals a weak spot. It is marked with a purple glow, but you can't do infinite damage on the weak spots. Once you've done a certain amount of damage, the weak spot it disappears again. And the offshoot that spawn sometimes are somewhat annoying, but they're not too bad.
I like that boss, indeed. I found him fair, not too hard, very balanced, I say.
There are these events all around the world. Firstly, the Manibus. Secondly, you have to loot this truck, and finally, the Ancient One's Trial, which is the most fun one. You have to ride this deviated commercial airliner and pop the balloons so you don't crash early. Fun idea, and the rewards are great as well. This may be one of the worst cutscenes I've ever seen. After you plant all the explosives in Sunshine Farm for this mission, you get a cutscene that shows how the farm explodes. The bad part is that the movement of the player is extremely stiff, and even worse is that there is no sound at all. Just look at this, like why? By the way, that's not Mary betrayed me in wherever the fuck that is, but the final mission is nicely designed. I thoroughly went into Sunshine Farm again and listened to the shadows from the past of Mary and Victor Hamed. And with each time Victor's voice changed to V's voice, which raises the question, is Victor the same person as V? And if yes, how did Victor transform from a human to a bird? After that I confronted Mary, but before that I meet Mizuko in our world, which was a nice surprise. The mission tells me to quote, storm the facility, which I find quite funny, because there's only me here. So this is quite a sad sight for storming. My preferred choice of word would have been to infiltrate the facility. Anyway, I have to shoot my way through a horde of Rosetta soldiers to finally get to an entertaining cutscene.
We will never let you succeed.
Her forehead is
that
larger
what you
than I
think?
remembered.
That this is a matter of you letting me succeed? With you standing here before me, My plan is already complete. The force of evolution is unstoppable. This time, humanity will reach a higher plane of existence than it has ever known before. But for that, humanity must yield.
Where did the two such a big boys go?
Including you,
But she has a sexy,
Mayfly.
she has a sexy outfit, that's to be sure.
Give in, Mayfly. Yield to the tide of evolution. Or be crushed by it.
I expected to either fight Mary herself or the money boss, but sadly the boss fight that followed was disappointing, since it only was 2 Rosetta heavies, whom I neutralized before they even were dead. There are many possible ways to increase a boss's difficulty. Swarming you with enemies is the worst way to do so. That is why I hate the LEA's research lab. They just swarm you with enemies to an unbelievable point of ridiculousness. First phase, enemy swarm. Second phase, enemy swarm. Third phase, jump and run with enemy swarm. Fourth phase, you guessed it, even more jump and run with one final amount of enemy spam. And honestly, I have no clue how you are supposed to do this solo. The only way I got through this was with getting me some 3 other people in here who carried me.
My beautiful baby daughter, asleep in my arms, reunited with me once again. Because dreams are forever, you see.
Lastly, I tried doing a prime war, but since my server was dead, I had to do it myself. Which didn't end well because prime wars are designed to be played by multiple people, which you could clearly see by the amount of damage I did to the boss. Destroying his silver shield wasn't an issue, but doing actual damage was where I knew that I ain't gonna do shit and just left. The HP bar wasn't even moving an inch. Maybe evaluate subscribing, like and watch my latest video. And if this is my latest video, then watch my last video.